Hello, everyone. How are you? It's me, your host, Antoine Hunter. Welcome to Deaf Woke. It's been tough to find different avenues, different communities to stay connected during this time, has it not? It is so vital that we have communication, interaction with each other, that we know that we are out there supporting one another and growing together. To feel that disconnect, it's jarring. So it's so important that we are united. I am so thrilled to be here with you all. Let me give you a brief visual description. I have milk, dark chocolate skin. I got that from my mama. And I have long ebony locks. They're tied back right now. They're going on 3 feet. I have an ebony, black, and going gray, bushy beard. I am wearing a gray t-shirt with, in yellow lettering, the words #DeafWoke. I'm standing in front of a red background, and I am here in Oakland, California, land of the Ohlone tribe, which is also home to the Black Panthers. So welcome here, welcome to my home. Today is July 13th, 2021. And I have a special announcement for you all today. Keita Benton, it is her birthday today. Happy birthday, sister. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. So happy birthday, sister. 2 of us grew up together. Little bit of a rough start growing up, but we learned to communicate through art, and we expressed that in the form of drumming and had an instant connection, instantaneous between the 2 of us through that artistic expression. Now, who's that beautiful voice that you hear sounding silky smooth? Well, let's bring it to the screen. We have interpreter Kaylee here. Thank you for being a part of the show. So we have a really special guest tonight, and her name is April Jackson. April was born in Missouri, and she was born and raised there to a multi-generational deaf family. She became a deaf interpreter in 2018 and has been expanding her skill set and obtaining a degree. And she is going to Gallaudet University for that degree. April specializes in a variety of settings to interpret in, focuses on Black ASL spaces, but again, is very versatile in her signing. She loves to exercise, to travel, to socialize, and spend time with her family. April is not just an interpreter. She has such a wide skill set. And so she is going to share her story on all that her life journey has brought her. So come on to the stage. We're going to show a brief video.
Here for the singing of our national anthem, accompanied by the President's own United States Marine Band, please welcome Lady Gaga. President of the International Association of Firefighters, Local 3920, Fire Captain Andrea A. Hall for the reciting of the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This land is mine. Vice President California.
As you can see, folks, Vice President-elect Kamala Harris arriving there in purple,
From the redwood
arriving on the east front of the Capitol.
They're greeted by the Senate Sergeant of Arms, Jennifer Hemingway, and the acting House Sergeant of Arms, Tim Logic.
And there is President-elect Biden there, just out of the car.
Defend the Constitution of the United States.
Teal?
Teal or turquoise?
Against all enemies,
Teal and
foreign and
turquoise?
domestic.
Turquoise with teal trim.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I will bear true faith
Close by as well.
United States
That I
Capitol
take this
Police
obligation
Officer
freely,
Eugene Goodman, today's acting deputy
without any mental
Sergeant at
reservation
Arms.
or purpose of evasion.
without any
The
mental
brown-coated
reservation
scarf
or
there.
purpose of evasion.
That
So
I
folks,
will
you
well
will
and
see,
faithfully
United States Capitol
discharge
Police
That I
Officer
will well
Eugene
and
Goodman.
faithfully discharge
the duties of
There's
the
some footage
office
of him,
on
so he
which
has
I
a
am
special
about
honor
to enter.
today
the
of
duties
being
of the office
the
upon which I am
Deputy
about
Sergeant
to
at Arms.
So help me God.
I see the chair of Jason.
All right.
Close by.
Yes, so some of Jason meets them here at the bottom of these front steps, and then I think they meet some of the others as they walk a little bit further up the steps.
nation
December
that
2nd.
isn't broken, but simply unfinished. We, the successors of a country and a time where a
That's going to
skinny
be quite a
black
moment.
girl descended
Quite a
from
moment.
slaves and raised by a single mother can dream of becoming president, only to find herself recited for one.
Here they go.
And yes, we are far from polished, far from pristine, but that doesn't mean we are striving to form a union that is
light brown
perfect.
coat there.
We
United States
are
Capitol Police
striving
Officer
to
Eugene
forge
Goodman.
our union with purpose, to compose a country committed
Deputy.
to all
Deputy Sergeant at
cultures,
Arms.
colors, characters,
ceremony.
and conditions
Acting
of
Deputy
man.
Senate Sergeant.
And so we lift
Excuse
our
me.
gaze
Eugene
not to what
Goodman, Eugene O.
stands
Goodman,
between
Private
us,
First Class,
but
United
what
States Capitol
stands
Police.
Very
before
soft-spoken
us.
gentleman. Says
We
4 words
close
away.
the divide because
He's a
we know
familiar
to
face
put
to
our
us
future
and
first.
to our
We must first put our
colleagues in the guide
differences
service.
aside. We lay down our arms so we can reach out our arms to one another. We seek harm to none and harmony for all.
We have succeeded beyond our highest expectations. Instead of just small backyard gatherings, America is getting ready for a truly historic 4th of July, with large celebrations planned in communities across the country.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, whoo, people, everyone out there, I hope you're watching that. Now let's give a warm welcome for April Jackson. Hello, hello. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow, watching all of those clips. Are you really here? Are you really here? I am. Hello. Wow. It is so good to see you. It's been how long? So long since we last saw each other. Wow. You have been busy working hard in this community, spending time with your family. You always keep it real, though. How are you? Oh, thank you, Antoine. Thank you for having me here. It is an honor. I'm doing great. Thank you.
Yeah. I think that when I started with the president and everything, like, wow, that had to been a big honor, to be their deaf interpreter to the White House. Can you explain that experience?
Well, you read about the White House in books, you see it in magazines. We know it's, on 1200 Pennsylvania Avenue. We know that it's in DC. It's near Gallaudet, and it's, okay, we take pictures outside of it. But then when they asked me to interpret for the White House, I said, me? Wow. It was such a huge honor to do President Biden's swearing in ceremony, part of the campaign, to be in part of that political sphere, and to be able to provide that message for the deaf community really meant a lot to me. To be able to interpret that, to have that accessible message really was so important.
I don't often see deaf interpreting for news or things like that. Is that rare or is that normal? Have a deaf themselves interpreting?
Well, it really depends on the state, actually. Nationwide, it is not common to have nationwide have deaf interpreters up on that platform. And that's why there's been so many complaints, because it should be a deaf person who has that native language. You know, the deaf person has that hearing interpreter as a team, but so often that hearing team is resistant, and we need to break down those barriers for hearing interpreters to work with deaf interpreters so that we have more recognition, so that we are more common nationwide. I mean, this is the year 2020, or this was in the year 2020. And so we were wondering, you know, where are we? Where is that recognition that we should be having? And so, you know, 2020 into 2021, that is something that we hope that the news outlets continue to do, and not just have it as a one-time, you know, oh, check, we did that, had that experience. No, accessibility is the key. Language is the key, and having clear accessibility and understanding to that is critical. And so it can't just be a one state here and a one state there. It has to become nationwide practice.
When you say native, I mean, many people would think a hearing interpreter, but man, you're training. What's the difference when you see it from deaf people? What's the difference?
Well, that's a good question. Hearing interpreters, their primary first language is English, compared to your deaf interpreter who is born and raised using ASL. And so hearing interpreters, they interpret their auditory English into ASL, right? Which is fine. But it is important to keep in mind that that is their second language. Deaf interpreters, their primary language is ASL. Now, some deaf people understand hearing interpreters, but not always. And so having that deaf interpreter, being able to really match the needs of their audience, to engage with their audience, to present it in a way that is clearly understandable for the masses.
I completely. I know my eyes so and my mind is working hard to understand hearing people when they sign. You know, because sign language, we try to get most of the concept out of everything. I'm already in the hearing world, walking around to restaurants. I thought, oh, it's nice. It's less stress when hearing interpreters. I'm the deaf person signing interpreting. My brain's working less, you know, to just go ahead to understand, and that's the different way. So thank you for.
Right. Exactly. And just to add on that, mind you, hearing interpreters, you know, I am not barraging them, bringing them down. I am thankful for them, and they do a wonderful job. However, sometimes their work isn't as clearly understood, which is why it is beneficial to have that deaf interpreter to provide that clarification.
I was thinking you have interpreter, deaf, hearing. Now, it wasn't very often I see deaf interpreter people. Oh, also, what's now often I see VIP, BIPOC, Black interpreter, Asian interpreter, Latino, whether they're hearing with that. It's not often. What do you think the issue is?
In my experience, I started interpreting in 2018. And what I was noticing was that I was volunteering, you know, here and there in the community, but I didn't see myself as having the potentials and the possibilities You know, many people think, oh, I have the potential, I can become a doctor or XYZ career, but me seeing the potential in myself to become an interpreter, I wasn't quite there yet. And so I think if you have the skills, do it. And maybe what is the problem that is holding some people back is a lack of finances, is a lack of a support system, a lack of Black BIPOC mentors, just simply not having enough support. Because maybe you are in a predominantly white state. Maybe you don't have that role model, that support. And so for me, I just had to take the skills that I had and go out and do it. But again, those reasonings, that lack of support, that lack of funding, and the deaf world is small, right? It is very small. And so for me to become an interpreter and become essentially the face of the community and the face of the Black deaf community, I'm receiving many, many requests now of how do I do this? How do I do that? Well, you take a training. You know, you have to go through some level of training. And many people think that you can just go and do it. Well, think of a doctor. They go to school for 6+ years and go through testing. You know, it's a similar concept. The interpreting field is parallel to that concept where you must go through training and workshops and learn and grow and develop yourself through this field. That's how you gain that knowledge. That's how you gain that networking abilities, you know, research. All of that is important into becoming an interpreter.
We continue to train ourselves as we go forward, or we just got a degree and that's it. Don't continue to train yourself to grow more, to advance, to specialize your talent, your gift. You know, I always watch and read comic book X-Men. Challenge are always becoming greater and greater. I mean, we need to push our skills and our gifts greater and greater to understand deeper and deeper. That's for the better we serve ourselves, our family, and community. Ooh, responsibility never becomes smaller, smaller, bigger and bigger. You know, I see you step up, you. Really nice to see you at that national level. Sometimes just not the odds to where I am, but also join for the different medical related happening. We see at the end of that video recently. You were interpreting that many medical advice. How you get yourself ready for that?
Prep is the key. Prep. When I am confirmed for an assignment, I get the date and the time. If I'm available, I confirm and I ask for prep before that final confirmation to make sure that I'm a fit for that job. It's important to know the topic. That way you can research ahead of time. Maybe it's an event that happened the day before or the week before. Maybe it's an event that a script will be provided, a run of show. And so it's important to know who is the audience, who is this addressing. So that prep is very important.
You go ahead to read medical terminology, or you connect yourself with other, like you communicate with other deaf doctors or scientists to get the signs, our community.
Great question. I do interpret at several hospitals within DC vicinity, and that is challenging work. Typically I interpret in a little bit more abstract of nature, presenting the anatomy of the body using classifiers. Sometimes when I don't know what a certain term means, or I know that perhaps the community isn't versed in that scientific terminology or whatnot, I will clarify, I will research, and I can use information from those who are versed in that. Think of children who have gone through language deprivation or don't have that language, and so it's providing access for them.
Different for the older, middle age, young. Okay, why like that for?
I'm trying to think of an example. Blood. Let's use the word blood.
Oh, what you say?
Blood, yes. So, older, deaf, no, you get a cut, you bleed. The specific part of the body is irrelevant to this example. But now for children, or for people who have had language deprivation, the sign for blood might not have a schema for that. Or if they are from another country, their sign for blood might be different. And so I might say red, the color red, and maybe I'll look for a red shirt that I'm wearing, or the color red that's in the room, or I'll do gestures of, ooh, oh, to show that concept of bleeding. And so I can describe it using gestures, the environment around me, and use, language to portray that concept. And you can show, what part of the body is affected.
I'm trying to get creative with you.
Everything you can find, anything you can find the color in. Like, for example, this blue pen.
You want old people to have access to the information for what's happening. You talk about medical, that's really important. Put in the wrong person. Medical information about yourself can be scary.
Yes. I also show pictures. I'll pull up my phone and show a visual aid right there on my phone of what something might look like. So say they ask a question and I'm describing it, I can use a picture for additional clarification.
I really love how you get more creative to carry the conversation, interpretation for individual or group or the people. So that's really awesome. How do we make sure information is delivered? So really you
What's important is understanding. That's how I know that I've done my job. I adjust, and when that message comes across, it's like a light bulb goes off. That's my goal. Yes, I am an artist. I am an actor. So I really enjoy storytelling.
What's your favorite storytelling?
Oh, I would say real story, my own personal experience. I really enjoy sharing those personal stories, and books too. I love to use my facial expression to match the characters in the book. I become that character. I embody that person, you know. And so I love having that skill that's innate in me to tell that story, to use those gestures to provide that visualization. So I use several different skills and interpreting skills all in that story.
Oh, storytelling to what? And became adult. Wow. Wow. How many of my past stories that I grew up with is really different than what I thought, you know, and really
Right.
moved me. I mean, sign language has so rich to bring many books and stuff out. You know, it is that.
For sure.
And you ask her what roles you love to play, you like to do, like Shakespeare or
Oh, no Shakespeare. Sorry to all the Shakespeare lovers out there. Hats off, respect to you, but that is not my cup of tea.
Romeo and Juliet.
Romeo and Juliet. I was a part of that though in my college days. But I have interpreted Shakespeare as well. So some of that. I've done some shows at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. And I have been a part of BASL, which is essentially a sign language coach. So we go over the scripts, we provide feedback to the interpreters, just add more clarification.
Want to perform interpreter or interpreter how you find out could be have tools that perform some as performer. We make our work, we make it work, or that doesn't work.
Some theaters specifically request me to interpret, and some ask me to act and do both. Now, that is typically in a children's environment. For example, if I'm interpreting, you know, maybe I'll do like some high fives, and I'll involve the audience like I'm acting while interpreting. Let me see some other examples of interpreting and acting. It's tough to blend them together, but when you can pull that off, it is a seamless viewing experience, which that interactive theater, it's really becoming more popular these days. And so the interpreter is on the stage, dressed similar to the cast. You know, it's almost like they blend in. And that is really becoming more prevalent in theater these days. And so it depends on the director, the producer, their decisions, if that's how they want the interpreter to blend in with their show. It's possible. It depends again on the director. It's their call to make. You know, because many times I wear all black and interpret in the front. You know, doing that type of blending, it's more rare. It's only if I'm requested.
even two different. I want to try to figure out because some debation in deaf community tend to interpret the interpreter. And sometimes I have a conversation with hearing people or have a conversation with do they tell or I need you to set boundary because they said something about ethnic codes of different yeah, well, I'm not sure the boundary apply to all people or should this 2021 to new business or
Do you mean in terms of following the CPC? I'm just trying to understand your question. I mean, RID, the Registry of Interpreters for the Deaf, they have what's called the CPC, the Code of Professional Conduct. And, you know, one of the tenets says that it's so important to respect the consumer, the deaf person, the agency. And so you have to remember that you must be qualified in order to take that job. It must be a good fit for you. So, for example, if we're taking medical job, well, let's look at the medical side of things. If you don't have the skill set to explain medical terminology, to interpret that, you can be hurting that deaf person if you are interpreting errors, if you are not going according to the message. That can have an impact physically to that deaf person.
Yes, yes, yes.
And so it is quite a serious matter. Again, that is why training is paramount. Understand what kind of assignment it is before you accept it. So key.
Yeah, you know, I love having, you know, the right interpreter, you know, to be really immersed into the work that we're doing. You know, some people who are watching notice that my voice may have changed. No, I have an interpreter that's interpreting for me. So there, my voice. That's the interpreter, Jay. He's here for us today. Some people were like, wait, what happened? Some people felt a little shocked, off kilter.
That's funny.
Whew. You know, we were talking about training, and that's a perfect segue. Where do you get your training from?
Well, 40 hours are required for certification. And so I took trainings at Gallaudet University. I had a deaf instructor. And I made sure that I, you know, had enough training that I had training by a deaf instructor. And I took, you know, several different trainings with different instructors, but those 40 hours of training aside, you know, put that aside, you can take, you know, workshops that are offered. So if you see a workshop and it's a good fit for you, some are free, some do have a cost associated with it. The free ones are very nice, but it is wonderful to network. Sometimes they have conferences. And so 2 years ago in Oregon, they had a conference and it was wonderful. I stayed with a deaf family. They had deaf parents, deaf children, and to see that full accessible communication, you know, it was wonderful. It was wonderful to not be, you know, the only one. And those deaf children were there signing, and you could see, you know, their language being fostered.
Yeah, I remember you and I had spoke before, and we need to continue elevating and evolving with the language. You had mentioned that you respect and appreciate hearing interpreters. Do we need to have those interpreters kind of take this step and absorb more challenges? What do you mean by maybe elevating, advancing? Do you mind expanding on that?
Well, hearing interpreters have been in this profession, since its inception.
But deaf interpreters.
However, deaf interpreters,
Just kidding.
we have evolved as well. We have been interpreting since the beginning. And so we can adjust to match accents, to match dialects. We can adjust our signing to provide greater access for that environment. And we have been doing that for many, many, many years. Now, hearing interpreters, they may think that they know it all, but understand, we as interpreters, and I as a Black deaf interpreter, have Black ASL innate. And so hearing interpreters are wonderful, but I have that language innately. And I can adjust to those who have had language deprivation. Again, those foreign languages, those dialects, etc. So for hearing interpreters who have been uninvolved, up to date, I would say step up. Work with deaf interpreters. We are experts, we know how to adjust and match that environment and that deaf consumer specifically. So I would say step up and work with us, because we both do the work.
The last couple of interviews, we've been talking about BASL. We've been breaking it down. For example, do you mind giving us a Black ASL sign?
Mm-hmm. Well, Black ASL, its origin was developed through segregation. And so Black students really developed that language in their social interactions with each other. And that's why it varies from your typical standard white ASL mainstream. I'm trying to think of an example. Okay, the sign for beautiful. This is how it's done in your mainstream ASL, and this is what it looks like in Black ASL. Do you see that difference? You see that different expression, that more emphasis on your facial features, on your body movement and your language. Did you see that dip in the shoulder? Whereas your mainstream white ASL, it's more monotone in sign. Black ASL, oh, we got to show that expression, honey. It's similar to in English versus Ebonics. You have those nuances, those linguistic differences. You can code switch. You have your Ebonics, and then in those other environments, those predominantly white environments, you use your quote-unquote proper English.
You grew up in a deaf family, predominantly hearing family?
I grew up in a deaf family. I'm 5th generation. Yeah. And I'm the 6th child.
Whoa. That's beautiful. So you were born signing.
With several different ASL variants.
I'm sorry, what?
What I mean by that is my grandfather, he used older BASL. My mother, ASL. My father, he was in a segregated school, and so he has BASL, more of a regional version. And I did not go to a deaf school. I have one other deaf sister, and the two of us were mainstreamed. The first in our family to fully be mainstreamed in our education. All the rest of my deaf family went to deaf institutions. And so my sister and I were mainstreamed. And my children that I have now, you know, the future generation that is coming up, they are, oh, I'm sorry, actually, I'm fourth generation. And so there's, you know, that language has evolved, that BASL has evolved since my grandfather. And my parents sign differently because, again, you know, they stick to their old school, you know, they stick to their language that they have. You know, my mother is more fluent, and typically, you know, if I was signing something like, for example, run, the sign for run, you know, what are some other examples of the word for run? Because my sister and I would sign run like this, and we kept getting, you're wrong, that's the wrong sign, that's the wrong sign. My mother signed run like this.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that sign.
My father signed run like this. And so I would, you know, adjust how I signed depending on who I was speaking with in my family. And even my children sign differently from me. Ooh, there's one sign that I hate. Ooh, this sign, nope. And so I say, no. And they say, this is my language. And so even my children sign differently than me, you know? And so it is similar with English, you know, dialects, everything evolves, and you just have to accept everyone's
I'm loving it. This is also a sign for run, right? I thought you said, I thought you, maybe this was an old sign. Yeah, this, a sign for run.
Oh, no, I said other. What are some other signs?
Oh, okay.
Other signs that you know.
Well, I was catching it. I thought I was catching them all. You know, I'm always wanting to just maintain our language. You know, I'm recognizing, you know, when people who are signing, they're signing new signs. You know, you see this on TikTok. You know, it's just new variations of signs. You know, however you stay young, you've become a high demand as of recently, yeah? Especially during COVID. There's been such, you know, a response from the deaf community or for support for the deaf community. How do you stay just keeping your youth, you know, keeping, you know, just how do you taking care of yourself?
Let's see, my form of self-care, I put technology away and I get out in nature.
You mean you put your phone away?
I significantly reduce my time on my phone. You know, because for work, I'm on my laptop all day, you know, all day, every day. And so I put that aside. I got my kids, go on a bike ride. We relax, you know, kick our feet up for about an hour. We do mani pedis together. Massages. Because, you know, as an interpreter, you know, I get very tense up in my shoulders. I have limitations, you know, I can't be walking around the stage. And so I'm limited to that one area. And so my shoulders rise and become tense. So massages are really nice.
What about yoga?
Well, I stretch. Yoga, oh, not so much. I work out.
Come on now, black people can do yoga. Come on. Okay, you working out. How much you bench?
Bench. Really? Well, last time I went to the gym, when was that? Before COVID. Right before COVID, actually. That's when I stopped going. And so, you know, I had to change my schedule of how I went about life, and I started working out from home.
I think there was some information, a video that you put out that you were doing a home workout. I mean, you have your interpreting life, you have your, you know, private life, but you're always hearing about educating the community. You're always thinking of, you know, trying to keep our community healthy. You know, so mad respect.
Thank you.
You know, who's your role model? Who do you look up to? It can be related to interpreting, or it could just be, you know, general. And who are some of your models?
Always my mom. My mother was a single parent, a Black woman who raised 2 Black deaf children. My father wasn't in the picture. He wasn't around when I was growing up. But my mother, her mantra was never give up. Just keep going. When life goes down, just keep going. Just keep going. You know, so don't worry, don't overthink, just be you and keep going. That was what she taught me. And I viewed that in her life, and I just wondered how, you know, she went through so much and overcame so much. How, you know, and she looked great while doing it. 64, and I say, my mother, you know, the two of us have differences, but we've never given up. A few months ago, lost my husband from cancer. But that situation, you know, didn't inhibit my motivation, my determination to keep going. You know, I want my children to look up to me. I want to be that role model that my mother was for me to my children. You know, I don't want to be overworking and not present in my children's lives, you know, and so I just want to spend quality time with them.
I mean, you're a mirror speaking image of your mother. I can see the reflection. You know, amen to Black mothers.
Amen.
This world would not work without them, without these Black women.
Say it again.
This world would not work without Black women. And we need to recognize Black women, honor them, acknowledge them, not disregard them. Oh, put them front and center. My mother taught me so much. Now, you know, I say I'm blessed, but now I'm blessed because of Black women and my mother. You know, I honor you as a mother. You have children, beautiful children. I've met them. They're brilliant. They're healthy. They're active. It's because of you. You involved the village. You wrangle them up. You're an amazing mother.
Thank you.
You know, talking about names, you named this person. You know, you mentioned your mother's a role model. So I think it's perfect segue into a little game.
Oh, game?
You want me? You ready?
Okay.
This game is called Name These People. Woo-hoo!
Whew.
Ooh. All right. So this is how this game's going to play. There are two different ways in which you can identify these individuals. You can say their name. Well, first I'll give a visual description. You can say their name, or maybe, what they do. All right, you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Visual description: a picture of an African-American female appears in her honey short curly hairstyle, wears gray blouse with a short necklace of diamonds matching in her pair of diamond studs. Who is she?
Is Claudia Gordon.
Yes.
Name sign, Claudia. Yes, she was the first deaf Black lawyer from Jamaica.
Come on, give me more.
Mm-hmm. I see some of these bios need to be updated. Okay.
Come on, yeah, bring it on.
I think she was working. I think she has a different job than what she had before. I'm not sure what she's currently doing.
This beautiful person is a picture of an African-American male crossing his arms with long black locks flowing over his shoulders. Who is he?
Of course, we got Mervin. Deaf Black man dancer from New Orleans, baby.
Yeah. Woo! This person is incredible. And I think he's my twin. Same birthday. We have the same birthday.
He actually just did a show called Open Mind.
Yes.
In New York City.
Yes.
Yeah, he hosted it in Times Square, and it's for the whole month. So if you're near New York City, go to Times Square. It's at 11:57 p.m. this month only. Very exclusive. So go ahead, see your signing show. And, on those Megatrons, one of them has Mervin's show.
It's 11:57 p.m. Okay.
That's when he gets there, 11:57. It's really amazing.
Next is a picture of a standing African-American female, appears in her yellow blouse, matching her silver medium hoop earrings, oval moonstone pendant, silver chain necklace, baby blue beads, wire bracelet, and a silver watch. Who is she?
Ooh, her name escapes me. But she was in NBC reporter. Ooh. And something on the Deaf News. No. I think she was Sign News. Sign News. I think I'm signing the name of that show wrong. But she is deaf and, brings different people on the shows to sign. I think it's still going.
Oh, Karen.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You're right. I didn't have to say anything. You said the whole bio.
I did everything but her name. I just couldn't get that. Karen, if you're watching this, I'm really sorry I forgot your name.
This is a visual description of a picture of African-American female, appears in a background of a cream wall with some wooden on its side of the wall, while her bronze coloring lips flashing while teeth to smiling.
This is Dr. Pamela Collins. She's also a Black interpreter, hearing, and she works at Gallaudet University. She used to work with Claudia, actually. Claudia Gordon at the White House. She was her team interpreter. And bonus fun fact, the two of us were co-teachers at a class in Gallaudet.
Ooh. That was a fun fact. Visual description: picture of a sitting down African male appears handsomely in his fine dark stripped gray jacket matching to white collar and a silver gray tie. Has a bald head, black, and a few gray strands of trimmed beard. holds his hand, bending to forward, a bit glancing at the camera.
No idea.
What do you think he does?
An interpreter?
Is Garvin, a native Atlanta in Georgia, is known as Chef Gary Garvin, to host on the television Turn Up the Heat with G. Garvin on One TV. That's who he is.
No idea.
Oh, learning something new. A little Black history. Okay. Picture African-American female stands side deaf, wears honey blonde long locks with a ponytail at the crowned center of her head, a silver hoop earring, and a baby blue woolen jacket matching to her blue jeans. The background is shown of several cream pillars behind her with an off-white floor.
Okay, so I don't know her first name, but her last name is Sig. She's, from a deaf family from Dallas, Texas. And I know that, some people were saying, really inappropriate things, really ignorant things. And she says, nope, out of here. That's kind of her slogan.
Yep, Nakia Smith. Native of Texas, known as Carmi. She is younger of the fourth family generation of deaf people. Carmi is being seen on over millions of virtual social medias, creating her own platform about Black Sign Language.
Fourth. Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, she's young.
You can see her on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and the different social medias. Picture of American male appears in his thin black haircut, wears in a gray jacket with a nice pink shirt and black and white strip tie, swinging his arm as he smiles. Who is he?
Isidore. Last name, I'm not sure how to spell, but he is African from Texas and used to work at Convo, HR. Can salsa dance on the floor. I used to teach salsa.
You know how to salsa?
A little bit.
Let me see.
If I have a partner who can lead, I can pick it up. By myself, I can do the basic.
Come on, join me. A picture of an African-American male appears in his nice thin black haircut, wears a pair of silver framed eyeglasses, black thin beard, wearing a smoky gray blouse with a black, gray, cream gray, diamond shaped vest, smiles at the camera.
I'm awful. I know him. It's just the name is on the tip of my tongue. J, something begins with a J. Professor, used to be at Gallaudet and now is at RIT. Specializes in BASL. That how researches the segregation and how that language formed. And I know it begins. Oh, Hill, Joseph Hill.
Yes.
Joseph Hill. Whew.
Yep, Joseph Hill. Dr. Joseph Hill. Got his PhD. He's an incredible person. I mean, you've already said everything. But he also did the Black American Sign Language, BASL, under the Language of Life Project by Danica Coleman and other creative workers. I'm always on Twitter watching him share different things on Twitter. Man, you know everyone. This visual description is a picture of an African-American female, sits leaning to a washed blue sofa, has some thick gold honey deep brown puffy afro hairstyle, wears a pair of double blue circle earrings matching to warm blue V blouse and smoky blue transparent leggings.
No idea. I'm guessing hearing.
Yes, she's hearing. Yep, Vanessa Garrison is the co-founder and COO of Girl Trek, located in the Washington, D.C., your area. Girl Trek is the largest public health nonprofit for African American women and girls in the United States of America, reclaiming their health and communities through walking. Learning something new, huh? It's got a few more. It's a picture of African American male appears in a representing shirt of Gallaudet's mascot Bison, 1664 in Bluff, blue and white colors. The background is outside of some green trees.
This is Frankis from South Carolina. Went to a deaf school out there, and has a deaf family. Graduated from Gallaudet, and still currently works there. Yeah, that's Franklin.
That's perfect. Right.
Oh.
Visual description of an African-American female stands holding the silver bar of the below and looking at the camera, smiling with a soft red lipstick on her lips. She wears in her black long braids that pulls back from a beautiful face.
Dr. Carolyn McCaskill. From Alabama, grew up in a deaf segregated school, has deaf family, deaf brothers and sisters. Most of the family's deaf. Gallaudet University, studied Black ASL, and wrote the book, The Hidden Treasures of Black ASL. She was one of the authors.
You know, what's interesting, most of the shows that we've done, I'm the one explaining, but it seems like you're taking over host responsibilities. Is an African-American picture of African-American man appears in his black jacket, white collar, and light brown tee, wears in a black flat haircut neatly in black full trimmed beard.
Again, his name I'm not sure, but he's a Gallaudet student and a performer. He did a role where he portrayed a black male role. Is this Mark? Is it
J.C. Smith.
Oh, right.
Mississippi, is a football star and black student union leader at Gallaudet University in Washington, D.C. J.C. is being seen on Preserving Black American Sign Language in the Deaf Community on ABC Night News Prime for the interview. At Lincoln Memorial, he performed American Sign Language. Now, this picture, female appears in her long extensions, black curly hair, and shaved on the sides. She wore full makeup, pink lipstick, soft smile with white tee showing, left hand leaned over her head.
I don't know. Kind of looks like me.
Are you sure? Are you sure? Oh, wow. Can't believe it. This is April Jackson-Woodard. Oh, is a native of Missouri, was born and raised as a translator from multi-generational deaf family, and then became a deaf interpreter professional in 2018. April specializes in various interpreting settings, especially Black American Sign Language, BASL. During her special moments, April loves to exercise, travel, socialize, and spend time with her gorgeous 2 children. She brings the best of the best service to the community. And that's who she is, and that's who we have.
Thank you.
That's it. Man, you won. Woo!
I think 2 wrong, maybe 3.
That was amazing. I know time is almost up, and you're in high demand. I don't want to be too greedy with your time. So, people, this time is Ask April Jackson Anything. So go ahead and type your questions, comments in the chat box. You know, be careful. Some of these questions might be a little deep. You down? So any of the audience members, please go ahead and ask April any questions you like. So one question is what advice do you have for aspiring deaf interpreters?
I would just say study, train, keep interacting with the community, take workshops whenever you can, really take advantage of those opportunities, and take advantage of your interpreting colleagues as well. You know, network, find your tribe, your group. Networking is key.
What advice you have for the deaf Black people who want to become a Black deaf interpreter?
Mentorship. And again, there is not enough mentors out there, but if you can find one, they really support you and bring you up in the field. It's tough to find one, but keep going. Don't give up. Keep working through it.
Question is, did you write your own book?
I'm working on it.
What kind of book are you working on?
It's about my family, about ASL, Black ASL. When my father found out that he was deaf at the age of 9. So that book really is diving into my family history. And, you know, maybe it'll get made into a movie. That's a dream.
What's next for you?
Next for me, well, I'm looking forward to becoming a certified deaf interpreter. I'm really just trying to hone my craft within this field and become a teacher so that I can educate those inspiring interpreters.
As you mentioned, an actor, are you still performing?
I'm focusing more on the storytelling side right now, again, due to COVID.
Cool. Do we have to take a written test in order to become a deaf interpreter?
To be certified, yes. Yes, you have to take a knowledge exam, which is written. Now, understand you can be an interpreter who is not certified and still interpret within the community. But if you want to take advantage of certain opportunities, I would recommend pursuing certification.
Question is, do you like signing ASL music videos? If so, what's your favorite song?
Any assignment where music is in the program, ooh, bring it to me. You know, I love it. My bread and butter. I love interpreting it. And so, yes, I absolutely love it. My favorite song to interpret. Now, what would that be? Honestly, I can't think of one right now. Nothing's coming to mind. But again, I really do love interpreting music.
Huh. Also, do you also have group support when you need it?
Well, when I need help, I ask for it. If I feel not sure about something, I gain that insight from the community. The community looks to me and I look to the community. That reciprocity is really key. And so that's why, I call, those interpreters, step up, let's work together.
One question is how would you convince people that Black American Sign Language is a language in your own words? I struggle with that.
I always emphasize Ebonics. Ebonics is recognized within hearing culture, and it's very similar. It is that language nuance, that variant that, developed through segregation. And it's your own language, you use it with your friends, you have your own words, you have your own style. That is, again, in essence, very similar to Ebonics. And so that's usually how, if somebody is struggling to understand that concept, I use Ebonics as a tool, as a reference to really bring that home, because Ebonics is recognized.
Yeah, this is not something new.
Right. We have to highlight Black ASL.
Sometimes, we are in a space that's predominantly white, or we attend predominantly white school. But Black ASL is already innate, and once you try to demonstrate that, you don't get the response. It's too loud. It's just it's more character. It's more alive. You think it's too much? No. It's just natural. It's just how we talk. It's just like your mama. Your mama's just very energetic. My mama is never flat. My mama's, she's, when she wants something, she'll show you.
Oh, I know.
If it's taken away from us, we become disconnected, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you.
So one question said, when your book, let me know when your book's out so we can get it.
Definitely.
Question is, do you feel it's appropriate for interpreters to promote an event they are interpreting?
Well, really, no, they shouldn't. We should not be promoting. If we're working that event, no. If the company go ahead promotes that, and if they choose to do so, that is perfectly fine. But I've learned the hard way, have that boundary and not promoting something that I'm working. Now, after the event, yes, you can. But you have to be very careful. It's a very thin line.
Yeah, it's a thin line between love and hate. So what advice would you have for young BIPOC studying ASL to encourage them to keep pursuing their studies in ASL?
Yeah, I would just say, if you are trying to study ASL, immerse yourself in the community. That's how you're going to improve. That's how you're going to gain skills. That's how you're going to improve your receptive ability. You cannot just rely on classroom knowledge. You have to have hands-on visual experience. And it's, again, who are those instructors? That's really key. You have to be motivated. And we know that there is a higher percentage of BIPOC students that drop out. And why is that? Is it the teacher's approach? Is it that maybe they are quotas and it doesn't align? Maybe there's a lack of mentors, of BIPOC mentors in particular. And those colleges and universities should have mentors that are diverse. Gallaudet having deaf mentorship is so critical. Their program is phenomenal. They don't have the hearing mentors any longer. It is a deaf person teaching, a deaf person mentoring, because it's their experience. And so that is extremely beneficial. Nothing but positive feedback so far on that.
This question says, from April, how is your project going for your deaf family history? I remember you have begun to work on something you mentioned on your social media.
I'm still working on it, still writing. Yep. Well, writing, typing. Yep.
Do you have a mentor?
Do I have a mentor? I do. I do.
I remember from Crip Cramp Camp, you were just incredible at signings.
Yeah, I had a team for Crip Camp, and she hated signing songs. I said, don't worry, I will take that enthusiastically. And I went ahead and did the songs. And my deaf team made sure that they looked at the prep, made sure that the timings worked out so that when a song came up, I would have that during my turn. So all of that was worked out beforehand so that I could take the majority of the songs. And, they supported me with different lyrics that I needed. I don't know why hearing interpreters a lot just really do not like interpreting songs, but I love it. I love it. Crip Camp was holds my heart.
Do you have any favorite memories of your interpreting experience with media, business on live or emergency live with high profile people?
I think my favorite was President Obama, who will always be, one of my favorites. I met him in person. He waved, well, in person, virtually, and it just warmed me. President Obama, the first Black president of the United States. I think another is interpreting for the White House. Those are high-profile jobs that I enjoy. I saw a comment about code switching. I'm really glad they brought that up. It's so important for deaf interpreters to have that ability to code switch. And what I mean by that is ASL that fits the masses, that most will be able to understand clearly. So, for example, the White House, that's general audience. For the local news, I may know who I'm interpreting for, the governor, the mayor of Baltimore. I'm able to match them more, their affect, etc. Whereas the White House, I could be interpreting for anyone. And so it's so important to be able to code switch. I mentioned at doctor's appointments, you might have children, have someone with foreign language, have someone with language deprivation, and it's very important to be able to code switch and to be able to provide that service to a variety of individuals. Oh, thank you. Yes, what's for me as well.
Okay, people. We can't keep April all night. So now, April, what is your final thought? What have you been wanting to share with the people? There's a lot of people listening today. What do you want to share with something that they've never heard before?
I'd say be authentic. Be authentic, in all aspects of your life. That's key. That's key to working with interpreters, with hearing interpreters and deaf interpreters working together. That dynamic, you must be authentic.
Wow. Well said. I'm looking forward to your book. It's coming soon. I want to say thank you so much for coming. We very much appreciate you coming here. I know that we're at the end, but for April's self-care, you can catch her on social media. You can follow her on social media. Now we got to leave the boss, the queen alone. Let her rest.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for being here on Deaf Woke.
Thank you. Bye.
Wow. That was April. Wow. Woo-hoo. Yes. Man, I almost lost my mind. What's one of the coolest people in the world? I've met her long ago at Gallaudet. But she was just cool. She welcomed me. And we chatted until the sun came up. We felt understood. Today on Deaf Woke, with my final thought, whatever your passion is, your dreams, and when you get it, continue to grow. There's never a period to your growth. There's so much power that you can give to yourself and the community, so much more. Don't limit your dreams. Don't limit your gifts. But don't forget to take care of yourself. When you're trying to take care of everything else, be aware of your surroundings. Carry your roots, your culture. Carry it on. When time changes, you don't need to throw it away. Just learn to recognize how to move forward. History is paramount. Who you are, where you're from. It's critical we carry that on to the future. It's like what April said. She's an actress. She's doing this and doing that. She's bringing all of those together to support the community. She's one of the few humble queens and spirits and humans. Continue. Black individuals, don't disappear. We need to support deaf. And we can lead as well. Just like hearing people. No, deaf people are no longer in the back, behind the sheets. We are in front. Again, it's like what April said. Studying isn't all that it is. You can't stop learning. Don't be scared to learn more. Don't be scared to get out there with the community, to absorb more. If you absorb more, you can give more. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you to April for coming. Thank you for April once again. Thank you for the interpreters, Kaylee and Jay. I say thank you to Hal Round, Drop Labs, and you for watching. coming here on Deaf Woke. Now come on now, where are my likes? Come on, I want to see 32 likes. I want to see more. I want to see more. Come on, give me some love. Give me some hearts. Come on, I want to see it. Now this shirt, it's from Pop Fish. And there'll be some more t-shirts coming. Please, if you're wanting to donate to Deaf Woke, the interpreters aren't free. This is a Black-led business, giving to the community. Do we know we need more platforms similar to this? So help. So if you can, please donate. And this is where you can donate to keep Deaf Woke going. Yeah, this is a way to keep us going. Now, if you recall, a few days ago, we surpassed 1 year of providing episodes of Deaf Woke. Today's our 21st show. April's our first show, first guest of our second year. Now, Deaf Woke is coming soon. And so the next time on Deaf Woke, with Raven, actress. So you want to miss that. That's going to be a whole lot of fun. Now, right now, let's dance. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Again, everyone, thank you so much for coming to Deaf Woke. Peace. Love. I'm out. Man, where's my music at?